Are live. What's up, everybody? Live before lock, Monday, February 25th. And this is starting to feel a little bit like Friday. We're getting a lot of news, and it's not stopping, and it's getting crazier and crazier and crazier. So, let's get your thoughts. First and foremost, the Miami Heat. They are without most of the team. Half of everybody that was still left from after the trade deadline. So, where do you want to start from the Heat? What is the key piece for you? Is it Kelly Olynyk? Is it the guy that got put in the thumbnail for this video 12 hours ago?
Did you really? Kelly O is the thumbnail?
He is indeed.
That is very prescient of you. That is excellent prognostication. That is Promethean of you. That's some good looking forward, dude. Yeah, he's pretty good. I don't know if he'd be my favorite value on DK. There's so much stuff moving on, but I have him for 29 minutes. I just redid the entire rotation, went back and looked at a lot of games where people missed for the Heat. Like one of those things people, I'm sitting here looking at shit from 2015. Like, okay, in this case, he did that. Like, I'm at 29 minutes, and I feel like that might be conservative, but I'll go with 29 as my best guess.
I gave him 30, so you're not.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think you're off base or anything.
Those are the two numbers I was thinking of.
Sure.
But, I think Spoelstra uncertainty, I'm going to drop it down to 29. But, yeah, in a matchup, I actually really like him in this matchup, too, the way his game style suits. In a matchup against the Suns, that's going to be number one for me. It changes a bit site-dependent.
Yeah. Right
now, due to the superfluity of amazing options at center, I probably go Olynyk, Richardson, Wade, Whiteside is the first four I'm trying to jump on. But I really like making sure you have at least two of those dudes and certainly some other guys on this team we can talk about now, guessing at what we think their starting lineup is going to be.
So you prefer Wade to Waiters?
I slightly prefer Wade to Waiters.
Okay.
With not an incredible amount of confidence, I do have Waiters for like 3 more minutes, which is very relevant. I have him right now. Actually, I have him for 4 more minutes. I have him for 29 and 33. Wade and Waiters. I'll still slightly prefer Wade.
I have 28 and 33.
Okay. Ooh, phone call.
Is that the starting lineup of the Heat?
Turn that. It might. Yes. What is it? Spo. I'm busy doing the show. Sorry. That was me making a fun.
I liked it.
I tried. So I'm putting in the rankings now, by the way. Those of you who are premium members at osmo.com, shill, please feel free to take a look at those because there's obviously more dudes to talk about tonight than like I could talk about shit I like for well more than the 53 minutes we have left. So just for reference, please reference them. You may see the occasional A ranking and then feel free to ask a question about it. But just reference on a slate of this side, that's a very good idea. So I'm putting in these rankings. I slightly prefer Wade based on that and I guess at ownership and price and positionality. But Waiters could very easily be that guy. And I probably would prefer either one to Whiteside generally. Again, just because center is so good. And that depends. Like the DK, there's 9 centers I want. Like it's literally, I wish I could MME tonight. I wish I could play it all tonight, but I wish I could MME just to set up that fun rotation in those groupings because it's really a double center night. It's kind of a quadruple center night with forward, power forward, yada yada. But for that reason, and I still absolutely love Whiteside. I liked Whiteside at the beginning of the day, and this news certainly doesn't hurt him at all. I will probably still stick with Olynyk number 1 pretty convincingly, 38 or 39, whatever he is on DK, 46 on FanDuel, still makes me plenty happy. And then, yeah, I think Richardson like 5,800 or 6,400 or whatever he is. In the absence of a real presence of Dragic and the complete absence of Winslow, and the matchup is so good, and I have him projected for 39.5 fantasy points right now.
It's a little bit higher than mine, but I don't have any sort of problem with that. He's a tough guy to peg. He's been really terrible lately.
Yeah, well, you know what makes for but that's I love him even more for that reason because his ownership will be down because of that. You know what I'm saying? If this game takes place with all these circumstances in December, you end up getting, Richardson on a slate even of this size being, 26% owned. And I think today he ends up, I don't know what we have him at, but I have a feeling it's 15 or something. And that's really nice for a guy I expect to smash.
Yeah, I like him a lot on FanDuel, a little bit more so on DK just because of the position, but I like him one way or the other. He's at 0.77 FanDuel points per minute over the last 30 days, and I'm projecting him at 0.99. So, like,
I'm projecting him at 1.06 if I'm doing the math in my head right, because I have him at 37 minutes.
Yeah,
and
that's
39 and a half fantasy points, so I'm at 106, 107. So,
and I don't have a problem with it. I mean, Phoenix defense is so bad. If anybody's going to be the cure for what ails you, it's going to be the Suns.
No, it's and maybe I'm being overly aggressive there. And if this is a guy of whom I've been a giant. The rankings are in, by the way. This is a guy of whom I've been a giant fan for year after year after year. But yeah, so position gets into this plays into the Bucks for me a lot. What do we have as ownership on, say, Bledsoe, Brogdon, Middleton? Right
we are going to have an ownership update in the next 5 minutes.
Okay,
when that comes in, I will let you know.
We'll wait for that then. Yeah, I think I haven't had time to look, but the last time I looked, 4 hours ago or whatever, we had Brogdon as like the most highly owned of those. I think that's strictly wrong in a tournament. Like I think Brogdon should be pretty conclusively the third highest owned of those. This being in a pretty massive sample size, and I actually haven't had time to run numbers because there's been so much going on. But Bledsoe almost always gets there when Giannis is out. Middleton frequently gets there and has expressed a massive ceiling, especially if you go back, a year and a half or two ago. There were a couple times he put up 60 plus and had a triple double game, and just has had some massive games without Giannis out. Brogdon has been very meh. And I've done the spiel like every time Giannis is out, and then you go out and you get usually 40, 45, 47, occasionally 35, 38, whatever, out of Bledsoe. And, Middleton gets out there, and occasionally he's had a couple of very unexciting games. Like there was a 29er in there, and he hasn't been as good, but there's ceilings into the 40s, 50s. And if we extend the sample back a couple of years, you got 60 a few times. And Brogdon tends to get 27, 29, 31. Like he has, and I'm just doing this from memory at the moment, like ceilinged once out of the dozen games he's played with. I'm going to look it up, like Brogdon's, because I haven't had time, but I just remember constantly thinking, yeah, his game does not change that much. And this is entirely non-data-based and entirely just what I tend to. I'm going to pull a query here and next games. Okay, here are the fantasy totals for Brogdon without Giannis. Let me run that right. I ran that right. Okay, here we go. Last time, 23. Time before that, 35. That's pretty good. Time before that, 31. Time before that, 27. Time before that, 6. I'm presuming something went squirrely there. Let's ignore that. Time before that, 47. Time before that, 17. Time before that, 26. Time before that, 26. That's everything for the last 2 years where he played in a game and Giannis didn't. So A35 and A47. We'll ignore the squirrely game and 6 disappointments.
Yeah, I mean the 35 is less than what I project him for. So like even I won't even be happy with that.
Right,
it doesn't murder you, but you're not winning anything.
I watch a lot of Bucks basketball. I love the way they play the game. I can't effectively evocate why that works out. I have the impression, which I'm pretty sure is well founded. I had a good conversation in chat the other day where people are like, "What do you think about gut takes?" And I'm like, I love gut takes. Your gut is not random. Your gut is your subconscious expression of your experiences. So if you watch a ton of basketball, which I do, and you come into the situation and it goes, yeah, my gut is Brogdon simply isn't as good as those guys, for example, and I looked it up, and he hasn't been, your gut tends to be better informed than people give it credit for. People tend to think their gut is just like this stupid thing. It's based on your experiences and memory. So I don't know why I brought that up, but just to say, if I look at the other guys over those 2 years, pull it. Here are Bledsoe games over the last 2 years without Giannis in there. Again, going backwards in time, 42, 48, 46, 33, 62, 47, 29, 42, 30, 33, 50. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games since coming to the Bucks with Giannis out. He's hit 40 or more in 7 of them.
Yeah.
He said, 30 or he's hit 29 or more in all of them. And again, when you're talking about like 6,300, you're kind of like, okay, against the Bulls, is there a floor here? Like that's the floor. Like it goes incredibly badly. And in some of those, I can look at the low score and check what the minutes were. But yeah, and one of those said 24 minutes and one of those, yeah. So, and then Middleton's, again, let me pull it down. I hadn't had time to look yet. Here we go. Same period of time going backwards in time. And yeah, there's the 60s at the beginning. Okay, so I remembered this basically right. 35, 42, 29, 36, 42, 37, 39, 51, 61, 48, 64. So, has tapered off a little bit. And this isn't a significant enough sample size to say that anything definitively. And I'm not going to turn to anyone and be like, Brogdon isn't, a good play today. He was a fine play against the Bulls at $5,400 with Giannis in there. He would not have been an insane play. So it's a great play. By all means, play any amount of Brogdon you want to. I'm not going to have an issue with it. But my, subconscious impression was I would much rather have Bledsoe than Middleton, who I would much rather have than Brogdon. I think there's some data to bear that out. So and I recall looking at the ownership and you were having double the ownership on Brogdon for $1,000 less. I find that preposterous, and I'm super excited to be under on Brogdon and over on the other two guys.
Yeah, on FanDuel, I have a chasm between Bledsoe and Middleton, and then a chasm between Middleton and Brogdon. On DraftKings, I have them much closer.
Sure.
But ownership is updated, so I'm updating it in my sheet right now.
Nice. What do we got?
Let's have a quick conversation. The Milwaukee Bucks. Ownership on DraftKings. Eric Bledsoe, 22.
Hold
Chris
on.
Middleton,
I got
24.
Okay.
Malcolm Brogdon, 29.
Yeah, okay. So it's a little closer than it was when I looked earlier, if I'm recalling correctly. But still, I get it if it's 7,200 for Bledsoe and 69 for Middleton and 54. But the other two guys are 63 and 6,400. I just don't understand.
So I mentioned those three guys right now.
Yep.
None of those three guys are the highest owned person in this game.
Laurie?
Bing, bing, bing.
Yeah. 79. That's too cheap. No Porter, no Dunn, no
I would rather have all three guys from Milwaukee.
I would too. I'm right. No, I will take Laurie over Brogdon. I won't go that far, but certainly building on DK today. If I'm building one lineup and that's all I ever build these days, and I don't even play it, but I went okay. So Bledsoe, Middleton, and then started doing other things. Too good. And then I think next guy was Laurie for me because I'd obviously like to run it back and no one else is here. But yeah, I find it to be less of a sure thing. But that being said, I would rather run him still than Brogdon. But 54 and 79, you're talking about very different things. But also the positionality. Laurie is taking my Kelly Olynyk spot or one of my center spots, and I'm not having that. So
yep.
that sort of gets in there too. So for that reason, if you said you'd rather play Brogdon, that I can get. I'll get behind you for given that on DK for that reason. But just looking at the situation, I'm a little more inclined towards those other guys. But yeah, getting back to the Heat, which is where we started.
Yeah, one quick pause. James Harden will play today.
Yeah, expected. I'm glad his cervix is okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's a joke. Yeah. But yeah, Miami, these guys with the extra usage now, Waiters obviously makes a ton of sense, and it ends up being a bit site dependent, Wade. We're in another situation where people, I had a lot of trouble getting back to Bazemore today with all these other, exceptional shooting guards and just guards in that 5K, 6K price if you go all the way up to Middleton. But if you just look at, Waiters and Wade and Brogdon and in theory, Derrick Rose and Bogdanovich and someone just asked me, what do I think about Tyler Johnson? It's if I just restrict my sample to guys at his position between 4,500 and 5,500, he's my 9th favorite.
Yeah, I like him if there's a 7:30 only slate.
Yeah, exactly. It's no. And that's why I love DFS. He literally went from being my absolute favorite play on this slate, was 10% owned, literally made people watching the show, just counting the guys who screenshotted me, $500,000 in the last game. And in this game, I consider him wildly unplayable. Yeah. I love this. I love this shit sometimes. He literally went from the nuts to no, thank you.
We got a lot of comments about him in early morning videos too. Mostly because of the nonsense revenge narrative.
That's all right. So Tyler Johnson is pretty easy. There are easy DFS players to predict and hard DFS players to predict. Tyler Johnson's on the easy side, actually.
Yeah.
If you had minutes. So even if we say, all right, we're going to give you 30, 32, I doubt 35 again minutes, but whatever. He runs what's blocked was the analogy I gave the other day. He's good in good matchups. He said, if you look at his good games this year, it's he beat the shit out of the Hawks and the Bulls and the whatever. I don't want him against the Heat. Even an undermanned Heat squad, he's still going to deal with more competent defenders than he's terribly good at getting around, and his price came up $700 to whatever $1,000. No, and there's a million other great options today. It's like no, I am good.
Jeff Teague.
I don't want anyone from Phoenix. Who's out?
Jeff Teague.
Yep. Okay. So I expected that too. So I will not change my DK lineup again. Where I screwed around with which centers I wanted to use all day. I finally ended with Willie Cauley-Stein and Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that Willie Cauley-Stein play.
Yeah.
TLC is starting for Otto Porter. Of course. Yeah.
Timothy Luwawu.
Man, the next 40 minutes of this are going to be ridiculous, aren't they?
It's going to be great. I love it. It's good. It's frustrating. It's now, in fairness, I look at this from having a long career of playing a lineup or 3 lineups or something, whereas you're trying to manage like 150 or whatever. So
it's honestly easier because no one will slip through the cracks in that sense. It's frustrating because you have to continually redo your work.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier in a sense that like you're gonna get the dude that you want to get at some point in time in that list of however many lineups you crunch. But it's the news at 5:52 where it's like, okay, got to run like 200 fresh ones.
Yeah, while I'm hosting a show with 2,000 people watching.
Exactly. All right, so let's get Jeff Teague out of there. Talk to me about the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yeah. So Towns, it's a brilliant spot for Towns. Yeah. This is the fourth. Yes, that is absolutely the fourth. All right, so these two teams played 3 times this year. The last one was in December, and I bet you won't remember anything about that game until I give you the following thing. This was the game in which more people hated the Kings coaching staff than any other coaching staff.
Is that when everybody got a quick shower?
Yeah, it was the day where the starters played 5, 8, 9, 11, and 14 minutes was a Timberwolves game. Because it had been very fantasy conducive in the previous couple outings. That was the game where Bielitsa was 41% owned and played 8 minutes and 5 seconds or whatever the hell. So
nonsense.
That was that game. Now that I think about it, so yeah, that's good times. But yeah, Towns. That's really hard to get away from. Even FanDuel 10-8 is now not unreasonable.
Do you think that Derrick Rose gets like any sort of ridiculous minutes boost? I don't really see it.
No, I give him like 3 extra minutes. I think you're at like 28. Like you can. I don't think he's out of play in tournaments now. He's a pivot off, obviously, all these chalky guys. We're talking about those positions. You're going to get him at 8% owned or some such. So I think the 50-point Derrick Rose game is in play now. He might get those extra minutes. He might not disappoint you too much at a price in the mid-5s at, in a matchup that I'm perfectly fine with. And Bogdan starting helps his production, actually. And I'm fine with him as a tournament play, but I'm not, like, thrilled with it. Much less excited than I am for. He's behind Wiggins and probably Tyus Jones for me.
Yeah. So I'm mostly splitting the point guard minutes between Tyus Jones and then Bayless getting the rest of it as if he were Tyus Jones for today.
Yep. No, I think you're looking at 29 and 19.
Okay.
I think is about the numbers to look at. And that makes Tyus Jones very, very interesting.
There we go.
He gets in there he's riskier because there's, Rose handles the ball more and he gets that, Jalen Brunson, I'm starting, but Luka's doing everything treatment. Or there's a few more ways that can go squirrely. So I still think Olynyk, because of the matchup, is a better play. I like Olynyk more than Tyus Jones, but Tyus Jones might have crawled into ranking as the second best 3x guy. I didn't have as much time today doing other research to look at the site pricing as I usually do. So I'm worried I'm missing someone. But at the moment, I feel like Tyus might have pulled into my second favorite guy. Who's some of the other really good value? Let's talk about it. People tend to like that.
Yeah. You are right. Tyus 3,500 is very appealing. Kelly Olynyk. If we're talking, how low are we trying to go here?
We'll call it 4K and less for now. So 4,000 even and less on DraftKings. We'll try that.
Okay. You filter my stuff here.
Yeah, filter that shit. Sorry, I don't know why I felt like doing that.
No, you're good. I laughed. Kelly Olynyk for sure. What else do we have here? I don't have a table set up to like make this better than it should be. But
Oh, okay. I figured like you had, I don't know, I figured you had, say, ownership and then could sort by price and then look at I don't know, you could double
DeLon
filter.
Wright, 3,800, getting some ownership. Bam Adebayo, 3,800, getting a little bit of ownership. Tyus Jones will certainly rise from the 0.1% we had him projected at during the most recent update of 2 minutes ago. So
Yes.
perfect timing there. There's not much else after that. It's basically Olynyk, DeLon Wright. If you like Dwight Powell at 4K, that's available. Ed Davis, Damari Carroll, Avery Bradley, DFS, Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, okay.
There's not that much else out there.
Yeah,
It's mostly increased minutes to guys in like the 4 and 5K range.
Gotcha. Okay, I think I knew most of those. I was just I as much as I don't like looking stupid, my first priority is making sure I'm missing anything. I'm like, normally I can think of more value guys in the threes I like on an 11 game slate. I'm coming up short right now. I have Kelly O and Tyus now, and no one else I'm super excited about. Or like, Ed Davis is Ed Davis, like he is every night at 35, 3,600. That's fine. You can run Ed Davis, but yeah, there was no one else who stood out to me as this evening particularly sexy.
I was in the middle of my crunch, and then here comes the Teague news. Anthony Davis expected to play 20 minutes ish today.
Let's see, $8,100, 2 fantasy points a minute. Nope.
Yeah, even in his best day, it's still not going to be worth it.
It's believe it or not, his best day it kind of is. He can do 2.5 fantasy points a minute. He has had 100 fantasy points in a game, so that's 2.5 fantasy points a minute in the 40 minutes he played in that game. So his best day, he's giving you 50. Still really not worth it on a slate like this. But
no, yeah,
it's approaching. There's just no reason to try. Where the vast likelihood is he's going to disappoint you. So you no need to be that cute.
So we have touched on the Minnesota news. We have touched on the Heat. We have touched on the Bucks. Is there a team that we haven't touched on that's had a bunch of news today that is catching your eye more than most?
I don't know. There's with that news particularly, it's worth pointing out that Elfrid Payton is still way too cheap. Like I don't know how much Elf is going to pay. He's 4,800 on DK. It's just another just guards who cost. Again that Tyler Johnson question. If you just look at guards who cost, let's say, 4,600 to 5,400. So in that $800 band, I'm probably preferring certainly Waiters, certainly Wade, certainly Bogdanovich, certainly Elfrid, certainly, there's just so many guys there. So again, must be a fun day to MME this shit. Certainly Derrick Rose actually would come in over there for me. But yeah, I wanted to mention Elf again. Actually pretty much like that spot for him. And I think he plays at least north of 30 minutes and 4,800. That feels pretty good for me.
You should see significantly less less ownership now with that Tyus Jones news.
Yeah. And I mean, let's talk about 76ers. Give me your 76ers takes here. Your Suns and Embiid 76ers. Again, I think the public may be slightly too excited about Boban because much of it didn't see the early Saturday game where he started and played 19 minutes and was not good. And his price has come up $2,000. So I don't know.
He's barely on my radar today.
Yeah, nor mine. But it is worth talking about Mike Scott, who basically played 30 minutes of center in that game.
Yeah.
So we look at the matchup, which I think is a little bit relevant there, and at the pace, I think it's a bit more of a Mike Scott game. Now you can get New Orleans running big. Pick one of these teams, either Philadelphia or New Orleans. Give me your takes. I'm curious to hear where you rank these guys on Philadelphia, all of whom, especially at the DK pricing, pretty exciting for me. And then New Orleans, 20 minutes Anthony Davis, there are front court minutes there. So I don't think we get 30. By the way, I took my L publicly several times on Julius Randle minutes. Ooh. Where they're like, Adam says he gets 34. I'm like, oh, I think that's crazy. I think it's way under that. Yeah, he played 38. So I completely screwed the pooch on that one. I do think that was a little bit punitive. I think that was not irrelevant that they were playing the Lakers, and they're like, "Oh no, we're gonna let them know not to send that shit in our general direction." But yeah. So I don't know if
Sixers.
Yeah, please.
So on DK, I have pretty large gaps between the three big guys here. So it's Butler far and away for me. then Ben Simmons, and then Tobias Harris. On FanDuel, where Simmons and Butler are a little bit closer and positions are changing,
much closer.
I have Simmons with a slight nod and then Butler. But relative to where the public seems to be, which is nowhere near Jimmy Butler, I am very heavy on Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, that's I think due to what I'm guessing their ownerships were, which again I haven't looked. That's imagine where I think I would be on Butler, Simmons, Tobias, but I really like getting one of those guys.
Yeah, Simmons pretty chalky, 23% on DK.
8,000 versus New Orleans. Like I don't know what percentage chance I would give him of getting a triple double today, but
feels pretty good, right?
It's like 40. I mean, it's going to be maybe his most likely triple-double spot of the year, or second most. Like, you take Embiid out of there, and then rebounds are a hell of a lot easier to get to, and then so it's just 10 points in the dimes and 8,000. And New Orleans, it's like, yeah, that is pretty good for a reason. Like, I do think he's a better cash play than Jimmy Butler. Sure. I like them both, but I think Jimmy Butler has a greater chance of disappearing than Ben Simmons. That would be pretty hard for him to manage in this situation.
I don't disagree there.
Yep. Okay.
On the Pelican side, I don't really have much of anything. If I get to any like Julius Randle, Elfrid Payton, Kenrich Williams, even at 5,500, I can get talked into it. But the Philly side is where I'm really loading up.
Yeah, that's fair. It is a goddamn mess.
Yeah, that's an understatement. Yeah, Kenneth Faried, by the way, starting. That came in while we were talking.
Over whom?
He's starting at the 4.
Okay, so alongside Paul, Harden, Capella, and Tucker.
Good question. I don't know.
Tucker at the 3. Tucker, a man in his dream.
Yeah, Tucker at the 3. That is legitimate.
Is that it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's and I'm fine with that. That's what they should do. So bravo to them. If not obvious, Kenneth Faried's pretty good at 5,500 on DK. I mean, a lot of guys are pretty good, but that price feels pretty sexy. I like that a lot. Like, having Harden back isn't great for anyone, so I don't want to overtate. I don't think he's quite cash good, but that's just too cheap if they're going to run him out there 32 minutes.
Oh, for sure.
Hawks. I mean, Jesus.
Oh God, the Hawks.
The Hawks.
What a team.
They're so good.
Let's see, what else do we have that's interesting we want to touch on? 6:30. Let's take a look at a Thrive prop or two.
Sounds good.
You go to thrivefantasy.com. You can check out the site, but what you really should do is go to bit.ly/thrive. This will allow you to get a bonus on your first deposit, $10 on $10, 20 on 100, 50 on 200. So let's get your thoughts on a couple props here. We had a few that we enjoyed this morning. How about this one? You get 105 points for the over. Jimmy Butler points. 20.5.
105 for the over, 95 for the under?
Just correct. Check.
I will take it then. I'll go over.
Yeah, I have him at 24.7, so he is one of my clear top.
That's a very good. When you're getting weighted in your direction and you have him several points in the positive, I think I'll check. Hold on. I have 21.9 actual points. So, okay. Yeah, for me also makes plenty of sense.
Alrighty. And then let's grab one more here. You mentioned him earlier, and it's up on my screen, so I'd like to get your take. Willie Cauley-Stein's rebounds.
9.5.
Okay, so the over-under is set at 7.5. Okay. Do you like that?
I do. I'll take the over.
Okay, well, maybe you'll change your mind when I tell you how it's weighted.
Oh, really?
You get 115 points for the over.
No, I'll take the over again.
Yep.
It's a good spot for him. Like, if the minutes disappear, which is possible, then that could happen. But he has played historically very well against Towns, against the Timberwolves. The coaches tended to give him the minutes in those situations, and he has tended to exceed those rebounding numbers. So
can't beat it.
Yeah, no, that's too good prop. Hold on? I want to make a Thrive account real quick. And play those two because those two feel pretty good.
If you think that Kevin Love picks up a steal today, you can get 115 points for the over 0.5. That tickles your fancy.
That's cute. I like them like that. I like that's fun. I like that they do that. That's enjoyable.
I agree. Ownership updated at 626. When did that Teague news drop? Teague news was... Oh, that was a while ago. What was the most recent news? Teague, right?
When will the base
No,
drop?
Teague 15 minutes ago. Okay, so that ownership is what I want.
What do you think about Wayne Selden?
I think that he plays today.
Fountains of Wayne Selden.
Look, if you want to punt with him, I think it's fine. I'll probably have him in a lineup or two. But when push comes to shove, he's Wayne Selden.
Yeah,
And there's enough out there that I don't need it.
Yeah, I like it. I like it at FanDuel if you're again, I think you kind of start with Middleton frequently, but Middleton is kind of getawayable. He's more than Bledsoe. There's a lot of shooting guards I like, including
Kind
ones
of getawayable.
Yeah, that may or may not be a word. I will not stake my reputation on getawayable being good English. So, yeah.
It sounded like perfect English to me.
I'm sticking with it. But there I can see getting away from Middleton. If you play someone else and are looking for the punt, Selden makes some degree of sense there for me.
I would agree. Just putting our updated ownership in here, and then I can get back to some questions. We got 26 minutes until lock, so if you're getting nervous, people, you should. It's a crazy day.
Nervous in the service?
All right. Other games that have been standing out to me that I want to get your take on. Let's see here now.
Good.
How do you feel about James Harden today? We haven't really talked too much about the high-end studs. Is Harden someone you're paying attention to?
Less than I'd like to. It's just one of those days on a giant slate. Doing the 30-second version of a long spiel I frequently go into. Whenever you play James Harden, you're also making a positive vote for the really cheap value, and you're making a negative vote for all the other places you can spend money. So if you want to spend 12.5 on FanDuel on James Harden, you need a really enormous figure to get there. If we really like, everyone from Middleton to Bledsoe to whatever, to Tobias Harris and Ben Simmons and Zach LaVine and Lauri Markkanen, and if you're thinking multiple of those guys at whatever $6,500 to $8,500 and Aldridge on DK and all those guys, you're thinking 3 or 4 of those guys get to 50, and I do. Then you need 80 out of Harden. And so, do I think I'm going to get 80 out of Harden with Paul there? Probably not. So I'm generally disinclined towards it. I'd have some, 10%, 20%, because he can just break the whole field. And so you want to have some. But, it's just a day where the bigger the slate gets, obviously Hawks, yeehaw, saddle up. But, that's generally as the bigger the slates get when people are that superlatively priced. I think it ends up being more of a balanced day. Again, we're talking about not a ton of guys under, say, super value guys that we like, and the studs, aren't priced that great anymore. LeBron on the road in Memphis, price way up now, it's where it should be, but price up versus when he was way too cheap recently. That's not the best thing ever. Even more money to get to Harden. So, fine. I'm not going to say to anyone, don't play James Harden, but I think likely. I have him projected for about 66 fantasy points. That's not good enough.
No, it's not.
You could get 87, and that'd be good enough. So, it's unfortunate I can't predict exactly. If this game stays close, and I will say, one of the reasons I do like going there is D'Antoni leaves him out there way too long. I like the odds tonight that, I'd give 105 on the over of 0.5 times tonight that I watch a basketball game and go, why is James Harden on the court? They're up by 31. There's 7 minutes left. He's got his 30 points. D'Antoni, what the hell are you doing? His neck is sore. The odds of me thinking that at some point tonight, they're pretty good. That's probably going to
happen. Okay. What do you think of Chris Paul? Because he grades out really well for me on FanDuel.
Yeah, he's still absolutely just fine. Obviously, they brought the price up. I think it's the same price on FanDuel and DK now. I've no issue with 84 CP3 on FanDuel. It's 8,400, right? Is the FanDuel price?
Yes, 8,400 on FanDuel.
Yeah, I still have certainly some lingering appeal there. So no, go ahead and get some of that up in your life. Okay. I am absolutely fine with that.
Good to know. Let's see, where else can we head where I had quite a bit of interest?
Yes.
Let's talk about Andre Drummond and Blake Griffin for a second.
Sure.
They're largely going unnoticed, as is this entire game. Only Drummond on DraftKings for 9K is in double digits of anybody on any site on either side of this game.
I think that's as it should be.
Okay, I don't disagree with you. That was sort of where I was leading you. What's your take on exposure to Pistons Pacers?
I literally think, it's funny that you mentioned that. I think the Pistons may be the first team this year that for cash or tournaments, I ranked 3 players.
Oh, okay.
I think I'm not kidding. This entire year in which I've done rankings, whatever the hell the number is, 150 times, I think that may be the first time 3 players got ranked. I literally ranked Jackson, Griffin, and Drummond, and no one else as playable in any format. And I don't feel bad about that for the Pistons. You can't talk me into playing someone else in that game. There's no pace. The matchup with the Pacers is wretched. Their minutes are all the hell over the place. Like, I won't tell you I can't see a universe in which Luke Kennard plays 31 minutes and gets 36 fantasy points and squeaks into a winning GPP lineup.
Right.
But I'm in the world of, we talked about all the wings, right? So, like, if I'm playing one of those guys, if I'm playing Langston Galloway or, Ellington or Kennard or Bruce Brown, I'm playing them over Waiters and Wade and Bogdanovich and Bazemore and all these other guys I would just so infinitely rather play. I literally looked at it again and went, nope, cut him. I ranked 3 Pistons.
Yeah, it's a tough sell. Maybe there's a new Malice in the Palace, but other than that,
that was these 2 teams. That's very good.
Do you remember where you were when that happened by any chance?
Watching that game.
I put it on immediately, but I know where I was, which is crazy. It's like my own, challenger experience.
I remember actually it was, so that was 2000 and, hold on, get the year right. God damn it. All right, where were you? Let me try to remember.
It was either late 3 or early 4, right?
Right, I was about to say, I think it's early 4, but anyhow, yeah, I was sitting in my store watching it on the television.
One of my friends was home from college, so we were at another friend's house. His parents were out of town, so we were just sitting around drinking beers, and then somehow at some point in time we were, made aware, like, hey, you probably want to put the TV on because Ron Artest is in the stands fighting fans, and it was like, what?
Ron Artest is in the stands hitting fans, like, okay.
And then we just sat and drank beers and just watched the ridiculousness of the rest of that night. I can't imagine if that happens now. With Twitter.
In the age of Twitter, yeah, exactly. Oh my god, dude! Everyone, turn on this game. Go buy League Pass if you don't have it.
Yeah, I mean, if you told me that Ron Artest was in the stands fighting fans, and I had to buy League Pass, like, man, that would be a pretty healthy amount that I would put down to make sure that I saw it live.
Yeah, but I hear what you're saying. So, this is also the age of YouTube, so it's like, it's all right, I'll wait 90 seconds. Or see it on Twitter in clips or whatever. Like, it's not gonna. Yeah,
very true.
So
okay, so Pistons Pacers game we can care less about, but there is a game starting off.
I usually am not a write off a game kind of guy, but it's with all the other options. Like I would have shares of Drummond on DK.
Sure,
absolutely. I would have shares of Blake on both sides a little bit, and probably a little bit of Reggie Jackson, as I mentioned. But there's just not a ton there. And then Miles Turner, I think, is pretty interesting on DK especially. But Miles Turner, I think is very much playable since he's in.
Okay.
Like, the ownership there will be nice versus the upside he has, and that can work out your way. So, yeah, I can do that.
Okay. Early game. Steph Curry returning to Charlotte after being here a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like anybody on the Hornets that's not named Kemba Walker?
No. There are guys that are not out of play for me, but no, I wouldn't waste the time saying you can have a share of Nick Batum. I guess Nick Batum is the closest one to like. He's still 46 or 47 or whatever on DK. I can see that working out. I have him projected for just a scotch under, actually a bit under 29, but still that's, reasonably appealing at his price. I don't know if I'd go so far as to say like I like that, but that's at a point where
okay. So let's play Rank the Warriors. How do you feel about the Fab Five or whatever crazy, creepy nickname that they have?
Yeah, it's not the Fantastic Five.
It's not.
How
do you want to break these guys out today?
In limited shares. Like they're getting towards the price where they can like hit tournament upsides, but they're still just a little bit too expensive. And now Cousins has come up, so definitely Curry first, Draymond second. Then I got to think for a while, and it ends up being more site dependent.
Okay.
But I have Curry then Draymond. How about you?
I have basically everyone. Oh, well, everyone but Clay is easiest for me to talk about because Clay is just a guy that I play for a certain amount of percentages because he's Klay Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
His price is just generally the same, and what you're looking for is the day where he hits 10 threes. I have no idea when those days are going to be where he actually shoots. So I look at these guys in a pack of 4. I have Draymond slightly ahead of Durant, Curry, and Cousins. I can't even really separate them on DK. On FanDuel, it's a bit different. I like Kevin Durant quite a bit because of that position. There's really not much else out there at small forward today.
Josh Richardson becoming minty makes it a little easier, but even like I really like Josh Richardson, but past him, there's really
you're just paying down.
Yeah, there's and they're not even great pay downs. Like around the minimum, I don't think there's like anyone. Like you have to. I'm actually looking right now. Small forward on FanDuel. Guys, I'm excited to pay down for. Caboclo. Miles Bridges is 3,700. I guess you can kind of go there, but yeah, you're seeing my and again 12 minutes last game for Miles Bridges. So that's not exciting.
No, it's not. And then after that, I'm in for a little bit of Draymond. I just think he's a little too cheap.
Yep. I think I slightly prefer Steph. Again, Charlotte, yada, yada, wherever you want to take that as, however relevant you think that is. But no, I'm with you.
Okay. Entering a lineup quickly. Anybody you just want to stay away from, or you're fine with any sort of combination of those 5 guys?
No, I'm fine. They can all get there. I mean, it's probably Cousins at this point. Their centers in great matchups where, like, when his price is now 8,000, getting towards 9,000, depending what site you're looking at, it's hard for me to go there over, just many, many others. I guess we haven't specifically talked about Valanciunas, but he obviously projects to be, a monster.
He does. He does so, indeed.
It's tough to feel too confident about the minutes, but that being said, he can still pay off, 6,400 or what have you, depending what site you're looking at in very limited time. So someone asked if we could rank the centers on DK, if you want to go through that.
Let's do it.
Or just to make sure we touch on all the ones that are like, because like, again, my inclination would be like, okay, I really like these 9 centers. I'm going to make lineups based on different bits of these guys and then, do that. So let's talk about nutty good centers.
Okay. I think first and foremost is very clearly Kelly Olynyk.
Yep. Yeah, if we're counting him. I wasn't even sure we'll use the hybrids. Now it gets even messier.
Oh yeah, I just sorted for anybody that has C in the position. So Kelly Olynyk doesn't necessarily count in that he wins by default.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But Kelly Olynyk, I would say Towns is my number 2.
Sure.
I have Jonas 3.
Sure.
And then I have a bit of a step back after that. So it's Olynyk on like a different planet, then Towns and Valanciunas on their own tier. And then I have a little crop of 4 guys, Markkanen, Aldridge, Whiteside, Jarrett Allen.
I had Cauley Stein to that list, but that's basically exactly what I have. I have almost exactly the same tiers. Like there's actually steps there. So you and I are very, very similar here. But I have Willie Cauley Stein right with those 4 guys in my 1C tier of centers. But yeah, those are basically the super nuts guys I like.
As value has come out, I have gotten less and less Willie Cauley Stein.
Okay. I forgive you.
But I also still like him. He's at 3% expected ownership. That is comically low. I will likely have like 10%, so I'll have multiples of the field. But there's just, it's really hard to pass on like the guarantee of Kelly Olynyk, and then you're already down a roster spot at the same spot.
Yep. Darius Miller's out. Ersan will start.
Yes.
I have some interest in Ersan then. Well, that was it's relevant to say like, okay, I now like Ersan, and then as a follow-up, I'm less excited about Mirotic.
Are you less excited about Mirotic?
I'm less excited than if they had said Mirotic is starting. Like, don't get me wrong, my ideal situation is still Mirotic plays 30 minutes and goes off and plays more off the bench, so he's sharing less time with the elite usage guys in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
My dream scenario is still open, but I am worried that portends us again seeing relatively little time out of Mirotic, and I don't know what relatively means in this scenario, but we've got 2 games so far. I think 13 and 18 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe you get 27. I love him. Maybe you get 21. He's going to struggle to get there. So, and
that's really our only issue, right? We love Mirotic. We just don't know his minutes.
Right, I love him. It's very Kevin Lovey. I love Kevin Love. Like he's in a tremendous spot. If he gets 20, what did he get last game? 26? Is that the right love count?
That is correct.
6, 16, 22, 26. If he gets 26 again, at his price, he's still probably okay and could be very good.
Yeah.
If he gets like 28, 29, 30, now I'm starting to, get my Spurs are jangling.
Your Spurs are jangling. I like it.
I try.
I like it a lot.
I like it a lot.
Okay, let's take some questions from Slack here while I finish out my upload. Robinson starting for the Heat. Richardson, Waiters, Robinson, Olynyk, Whiteside.
Really?
Well, who did you think would start there?
I wasn't sure.
Yeah, because now that I think of it makes semblance of sense.
Yeah, they weren't going to put Wade. I thought they would put Dragic into the starting lineup for his limited time.
Interesting. Yeah, that would have been feasible.
I thought that's what they were going to do and keep him there. Okay. I still think Robinson plays 22, 26 minutes. He's not near in the category of Olynyk. I still don't like him as much as Waiters at his price, Wade at his price. But I don't have a problem with doing it now at what I presume is a really juicy price.
Yeah, he's...
He be the minimum on DK.
He has to be, right?
Yeah, and that's
flat minimum on all 3 sites.
Yeah, he would still be my 7th favorite Heat player.
I don't expect to have him.
I think like 19 minutes or something. Yeah, I don't think you need to go there, I guess is my point. But yeah, there you go. So no, that doesn't really change anything for me versus what I had.
Yeah, there's too many minutes to go around for like the other guys, so you don't have to sweat about like, oh, is he starting? Who's not starting? Whatever.
Georgeville gonna miss a few games as well. So, Wilson doubtful. No, I'm sorry, Brown doubtful.
Yes.
Giannis doubtful. Hill out. Yeah. So there's some time to go there. So like you might even get 35 minutes out of Bledsoe if this game stays close. Which
for real.
Which, they one of the frustrating things about him is he went on a streak of being phenomenal for several games in a row, and they kept playing him 29 damn minutes in close games. I'm like, really? You want to stretch? And don't get me wrong, as a person who likes basketball and likes teams being, not stupid, I was like, okay, good job. That's probably a good idea. But yeah, for fantasy, it was like, would you please play a couple extra minutes?
Oh god, I'm getting a little bit too much of some of these guys right now. I gotta try to walk them back.
Yes.
Too much of Middleton, Bledsoe, and Brogdon just overall. I need to dial them back as a trio a little bit.
Get some Urson in there if you're building FanDuel.
Oh, I have some Urson already.
38.
Ooh, that's a lot of towns that I'll be happy with. All right, question.
Shoot.
JJ Redick or Bogdan in the DKGPP?
Let's see that matchup. I will still go with Bogdan. The ownership isn't really relevant when you get to that level, so I'll go with Bogey.
Okay, I'll take Redick there.
Okay, I don't have any. I thought about it for quite a bit and came in pretty much dead even, and just slightly prefer the Bogdan play. Like he's, but they're gonna see similar time and, and beat out Redick. His shots go up by 2.5 a game, so no argument.
Yeah,
have a good time.
Okay. We got somebody that wants to pay up for a small forward on FanDuel. Do you prefer Kevin Durant or LeBron James?
I will prefer Kevin Durant for $2,000 on the nose less.
I completely agree.
Yeah, not by a ton. I have LeBron for I think 8.5 more fantasy points, but that's still not worth $2,000. So
Who's your favorite bull that isn't Lauri Markkanen? Because I know that's the answer.
Zach LaVine.
Okay.
I don't even think it's. I don't even know where I go third.
I agree.
Like Archie Diacono, who will get time. Selden. Like I don't know where you go after those two guys. I mean, for me, it is Markkanen.
Hopefully to a different team.
Right, exactly. Markkanen, pretty convincing. I mean, like, and there were games, and this happened before when guys were out. I would be like, you are going to get 50 shots out of those two dudes and 40 out of the rest of the team. And with other guys in, that just happened. You look at the last Bulls game, the last review slate I did, the last late night Periscope I did was hilarious because there were so many guys who took 28 to 35 shots. D'Angelo Russell took 30 shots, and Markkanen took 30 shots. And in that game, you had, 30 shots out of Markkanen, 20 shots out of LaVine, and then not a whole lot. Now, there's no Porter, no Dunn. It's not like Archie Diacono is going to get up there and start jacking them. So, yeah.
By the way, since I know you'll want to know this, and I can mention it because we're not going to hit it, we are a Smashing Pumpkins song today.
1979?
Yes. I knew you would know it.
I got that, man. I love doing shows with someone who's into obscure pop shit. Make my goddamn day.
But yeah, we're close. 21 short.
Okay, it's coming. I missed my prediction. I said we would get there by the All-Star break. I blame myself. I apologize.
Spags, if you're listening, I'll let you have this one on Wednesday.
Nah, it's gonna be you and me. Spags doesn't quite have the draw. Don't get me wrong; he's got 90% of the draw. But if we're gonna go that extra mile, I think it's got to be you and me with her. Excellent.
I don't know what the slates look like for the rest of the week outside of tomorrow.
Yesterday was shit. Today is huge, too big. Tomorrow is shit. The day after that is too big. It literally goes, I believe, 3-11, 3-11. By speaking of obscure musical references, by the way,
3-11.
Yeah, you like that. Yeah. So I believe it is 3 yesterday, 11 today, 3 tomorrow, 11 Wednesday. Yes. I literally think it goes back to back to back to back like that. So
yeah, it's definitely 3 tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what other questions we have down the home stretch. 5 minutes to go.
Okay.
Draymond and Middleton or Wayne, Selden, and Markkanen.
And Markkanen is this question. First one, not close.
Yeah, totally agree. Waiters or Richardson, DK Cash. That's Richardson for me.
That's Richardson. Yeah, that's not in. Yes. Yes. Ewing.
All right, Marv Albert. You'd be wearing underwear on your head, and did he bite someone?
Yeah, he basically had a prostitute come to his room, answered the door wearing not his underwear on his head, wearing women's lingerie.
Yep, is that what it was?
Wearing like a bra, panties, and garters, etc. Answered the door and was like, "Hello."
See, that's what you got to do, Mr. Kraft. Get them right to your hotel room.
She took off her bra and he's like, "And it counts." I have no idea. I got nothing. That's the first time I've ever tried a Marv Albert impression. I should state for the record, I have several very, very good impressions. I'm sorry that was not one of them.
You're good with Marv.
No, I got to work on it.
All right, back to questions. Down the home stretch, 4 minutes to go. Brogdon or Wade in a GPP on FanDuel?
I will take Wade. We've gone through this. I love Brogdon a ton. You'll get Wade lower owned. I presume somewhat significantly for that purpose. I will take the lad, but yeah, I'm.
Alrighty, what else we got here?
I don't know.
Ooh, okay. Towns and Ivan Robb or Whiteside and LaMarcus Aldridge on FanDuel. This one's not close for me.
It's pretty close for me, but Whiteside and Aldridge.
Yeah, I don't. Are their salaries so weird that that's like close?
Rob is too expensive on DK, or he is expensive on DK. Rob is 56 on DK or something.
Yeah, but so this was a FanDuel question.
He came up on FanDuel too, but anyhow, it's the second one. We agree.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, it's just.
I haven't projected for like 11 points more. That is not
3 of those guys are really good, and one of them is Ivan Robb.
Yeah, and with Valanciunas in there, you're being too cute. I like him. Robb is not unplayable in tournaments. You need to get some weird foul trouble or Noah deciding he's not good at basketball again, which, despite recent, occurrences, is not an impossibility.
I would say he's unplayable on DraftKings.
He's close to it. I won't go with unplayable against the Lakers at home. If you're one of those guys trying to break a slate, he could get 30 minutes and 47 fantasy points at low ownership. But at 5 whatever on 11 game slate, he's very, very close to unplayable.
Yeah,
I'll give you that. So
let's see.
Mirotic to see his minutes limit increased, which okay, that feels good.
I should
more
hope
than
so.
16, 17 in the pocket.
I have him with a lot more than whatever that old number
Trevin
was.
Duvall and Bonzi Colson available for the Bucks. I didn't read that when I saw it the first time because it doesn't matter. But
Who? Bonzi Colson?
Bonzi Colson,
Wells have a baby with someone?
Did Bonzi Wells have a baby with Agent Coulson from Marvel?
You lost me there.
You don't know who Agent Coulson is from Marvel?
I'm not that's not my universe. I don't mean like Marvel's not my universe. I mean like that whole thing is not my universe.
If you even saw the film The Avengers, you had seen him. So like I was you did okay. Well, then we'll talk about that some other time in your sad life. But that's curious. That is not what I would have expected. But now we know. Like 30 seconds out, people.
Yeah. By the way, Moose Knuckle in YouTube chat says that you should do a live stream on shrooms.
I'm doing that right now.
Yeah. I'd hate to tell you how this live stream would look if I were on mushrooms.
About the same.
I can promise you that it's not the same.
I've done many shows with the shout out for the great fantasy Shane Barnard, who did many shows at the height of various kinds of intoxication with me. And some of them were very interesting. One of my favorite shows with him is he was live in Vegas and he comes on and he's wearing a wife beater. And he's like, "Hey, what's up?" And it just says, if you've seen Shane, you know what I was talking about. He's got sunglasses on, and it's just there are many stories to tell from that show, particularly because there was a piece of art over his left shoulder on the stream, which was very not Jackson Pollocky so much, but like Rothko-esque, as it was big blotches of color, and it was various shades of red. And I thought about it for a while in the middle stream. I was like, "Shane, did you kill a hooker?" He's like, "Oh, no." Yeah. So we spent a lot of it. Yeah, he's like, "I don't remember anything."
Yeah. Memberberry said, and he nailed it, can't use electronics on shrooms, and he's absolutely right. I've tried, and my body wouldn't let me do it. Wouldn't let me text my wife and make sure that I was still alive.
Yeah, I don't think I've told you this story, and it's funny, so I will take 90 seconds to give you the quick version.
How about it? We're locked.
Yeah, no. Oh, I wouldn't have done. I did start the last story with like 20 seconds before lock, but we're actually on like a 20-second delay.
Yeah, you're fine.
I went through the mental thought process of I should take one more question. Then I'm like, oh no, it locks in 15 seconds. Like, there's no way I can get a question and answer it in time. So I will tell my humorous Shane anecdote. 1979, huh, buddy? We almost got there.
Yeah.
We almost. At least the women are safe. You know
had I realized it, I probably would have started retweeting it even heavier and stuff.
That's all right. Gay not starting, as you know.
Well, that's unfortunate.
It was. I apologize for not mentioning it, and it's again. I take a lot of things as common knowledge. There was a decent chance on a back-to-back, and the Spurs being all jacked up that he or Aldridge or DeRozan got a sit, and it wasn't going to be Aldridge because of his recent sit. So, and him getting in foul trouble and sitting yesterday. So yeah, DeRozan or Gay. I apologize. I thought this was covered previously. DeRozan or Gay sitting today wouldn't it not surprise me whatsoever, and he is not starting. Bertans is in the starting lineup.
I have 0 Gay, so.
Okay. So there you go. I imagine the field has 4% Gay. So studies vary on whether or not it's 4% or something closer to 10% Gay.
Everybody's 4% Gay.
It's Hollywood. Everybody's gay sometimes. Was you thinking about hitting the pussy when Lance was dangling his dice on your forehead? Sorry. Anyhow, so the story I was going to tell is I play basketball with a group of people who are mostly 20 years younger than me and mostly people of color. So I, in my endless effort to seem cool, and I'm not, and they know that, and that's sort of the joke in the room. So it's fun. We go out to eat together, and the waiter comes over, and he's like, "Who's the white dude with you guys?" And they're like, "Yeah, that just happens, but sometimes he pays, so we let him come." And they're like, "Oh, okay, cool." But we
talk to the cops.
Yeah, no. So we enjoy each other's company. And so they come over one time, and this has only happened 2 or 3 times, and usually it's less guys, but I end up with a half dozen guys and a couple of their girlfriends, and we come hang out here in what is basically my man cave. I've got 3 PCs and 3 monitors and a half dozen proper 6-button joysticks, and we're Mortal Kombating and Street Fightering and
Nice.
as we frequently do in the parking lot, they're like, hey, can we smoke some weed? I'm like, yeah, go ahead, break it out. So, pass that shit around. And I, hadn't smoked weed in like a year and a half because I'm old and I do this all the time and I never leave the fucking house. And I'm not quite so cool as to sit here and smoke weed by myself all day like some people I know. Anyway.
I'm smiling. You can't see it.
I noticed. Oh, I can't see it, but I knew. Anyhow. So, I don't smoke up alone, but I have inhaled in the past. We'll leave it at that. So they start doing this, and I've just been, vaping with my shitty gas station vape for a couple years consecutively. And so I'm just used to hammering the shit out of this. So I'm just out of practice from like puff, puff, pass.
Ooh, I know where this is going.
So yeah, so they hand this joint around. And about the third time, I absolutely hammer it. Like, weave it between your fingers, I don't know if you can see me, make the 2-hand cup. One of those. Didn't quite actually do that, but just pulled it with no additional air or anything. I realized that I have completely demolished myself.
Then there's no tapping out to that. There's no coming back from it. You just have you have to wait it out.
And I'm hoping that it comes back because I'm like, God damn it. This is not cool. So I'm sitting here and they're, again, we've got 2 computers going with the games on. I've got 4 joysticks and there's like 6 dudes here. So it's supposed to be your turn. So about 6 times in a row, other guys playing, they're like, dude, your turn. I'm like, no, I'm good. You got that. Because there's no way I can play that game without vomiting or whatever. So I'm just sitting here sweating profusely. Just like, oh God. But I've also drank a lot. So now I have to go to the bathroom. And it's, 40 feet to the stairs. And then an additional, long story short, I do make it to the bathroom, vomit some unbelievable number of times. And then my wife comes home who has no inkling any of this is going on.
Even better.
So she does what she normally does. Honey, I'm home, and comes downstairs. There's no me. There's 8 young people she has never met and knows nothing about. She's like, hi. And they're like, hey, what's up? Ed brought us over. He's like, all right, where is he? They're like, we don't know. He just sort of disappeared like an hour ago. I'm on the floor of the bathroom. I'm drooling and stuff. I really remember going, I'm so hot. I'm so sweaty. If I could just reach that faucet, I could get cool water. I can't get to it. Like, I just remember the struggle for like 40 minutes looking at it going, oh, God, cool, clear water. Anyway, it went on for a long time. And eventually one of the big guys who I play ball with picked me up, threw me over his shoulder, threw me on the couch, and the evening ended. But my wife was so angry, she brought my daughter into the room. And what is not a cool parenting moment, and goes, your father is stoned on drugs. You turned me into a movie of the week. And I'm just like, I'm fucked up, but I'm still like, that is so not cool. So not cool, honey.
Just tell you, yell at me later.
Just, it's not cool. I don't like this. Anyway.
Want to do some daddy like?
Oh, go, yeah. Oh my God, I totally forgot. I can't believe it's the highlight of my fucking night. I can't believe I forgot the daddy like. Whew.
We have both used the term. This is going to be the highlight or best part of our day today. I used it earlier when I saw that my dog had a picture on our doggy daycare Instagram.
That's pretty cute.
He looked happy.
There's a 500K $6 on DK. Oh, well, no.
They did have a big tournament today.
Oh, a big one. All right, I am downloading stuff. How many games did we have? 2? It was
3.
only a couple.
3.
Okay. Yeah, that's not cool. Carlito style. I was like, yeah, honey, don't show our daughter. Because you want to look good in your kid's eyes. And it's not like I do it all the time. So now, I spend the next year being like, do I need to, convince my daughter, who, at the time is a naive 11-year-old or whatever, that I'm not like a drug addict? Is she worried that I'm worried Daddy's going to sell the silverware for crack? Or, okay. Nobody made it to double digits. 2 people got above 5%.
Oh my God.
Steph Curry, 9.
All right, let me sort this. Let me sort this quick by the games that are playing right now. So it's Charlotte, Warriors, Cavs, Blazers, Pistons, Pacers. All right, I think I could do that off the top of my head. Hornets, Warriors, Pacers, Pistons,
Cavs, Portland.
Cavs, Portland. Yeah, I probably wouldn't have got there. Alrighty, go for it now. Wow, I have none of these games. Holy hell.
Yeah, these were shit 7 o'clock games. Like these were, I mean, you have the Warriors who are, the best team ever. So I'm saying shit in the context of DFS, etc. and pricing. But Steph Curry, 9.04%.
I have less than that.
Okay. I think I would have had more. I liked Steph, but not a ton more. Like, 12 or whatever. Kevin Love, 8.43.
I have less than that.
Interesting. Kevin Durant, here will be interesting, although it's DK, so I bet you're less still, but 5.06.
I am less than that.
Mo Harkless, 4.5.
I don't have any.
I'm fine with that. Like, Evan Turner is out, so it's cute, and he gets the start, and he whatever, but like, and this is quite a statement coming from me, I'd rather Jake Layman. And I shit on Jake Layman.
Yeah.
Poop on him. Give him the Chicago sunroof. Andre Drummond, 4.4.
I have less than that.
Okay, but we'll see if we have any. We're going to keep going until we find a guy you have more of.
I don't think you're going to find one. Well, you have one option.
We're gonna hit it 1%, or you have 1.5 of, or something. But here we go. CJ McCollum, 4.3. You have less than that. I'll just get that out there for you.
I do.
Kemba, I'm sure of that. Kemba Walker, 3.9.
I have 0.
Okay, that's reasonable. Klay Thompson, 3.3. Nope.
I have 0.
I figured you have a shot here because you do have some lingering affection here for me, and I think it's right. But Nick Batum, 3.1.
I have more than that.
There you go. I was about to say, if I had to guess. See, this is we're like lovers. We're learning each other.
How about this? I have him in 5% of my lineups. That is the high
of everyone on this. Yeah.
Of everyone on the 7 o'clock slate.
Yeah, in 3 games.
Yeah. So, not going to be at the top of the leaderboards when I open my phone.
No, they're going to be struggling for a little while. Draymond, 1.3. You might have that beat.
I do.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Because I'm definitely rounding up to 2, and I have that beat just simply by having him. It does not take much to get over that number. How the hell is he so low owned?
He's playing power forward center, and that's a coveted spot. Like, don't get me wrong, 1 point whatever is absolutely preposterous, but
we had him at 2, so I guess.
Yeah, he's the best play, I think, here. He's 1.26. I don't mind that. You could talk to me about Cody Zeller at 0.6. That's, I'd have some interest in that. Nurkic at 1.5. Like, it's still Nurkic. By the way, Nurkic had a triple-double against the Cavs last time they played. For what it's worth. That's not something he does frequently. Like,
I feel like I might be able to do that.
Yeah, that's but that is exactly
unless I can count turnovers.
Yeah. No, you got the 10 dimes, I believe. Pulling that out of my ass, but I'm pretty sure that was the Cavs. But yeah, 1.5%. I'd want more than that, but Lillard at 3. I can see wanting more than 3% Dame Lillard.
I don't have him.
Yeah, I don't think I would, but if someone said, yeah, I have 8% Dame Lillard, I'd be like, that's fine. Certainly getting, he's 86 or whatever is his price. Like, he can get 55 against the Cavs if it goes that way. Okay, there we are.
Who played themselves?
Oh, sorry. Yes, I will skip the rest of reading 0.1. Enes Kanter's 1.25. That's a little bit interesting. You can certainly see that game getting out of control, and he's been very productive in his time. Who played themselves indeed? Who?
People were talking Kanter in the YouTube chat before Adam and I started this morning. I was just like, oh, he's like the 20th best center today.
Yeah, it's like I can. That's why I didn't mention him, and I think 20. I don't think you're exaggerating. If I went back and counted the hybrid power forwards, that's probably about the number.
I pasted 20 names immediately after that. And it was just like, it has nothing to do with him or the matchup or like however this shakes out, but he's just Ed Davis. He's Bam Adebayo in these spots. And
and he's well more expensive than that. Like he's a little better than either of those guys for his production, but still.
Well, I just meant that they're like you're directly attached to whatever the center is doing. It's not like they're running out the Kanter and Nurkic lineup to run somebody off the floor.
Someone here must have played themselves. I'm still looking. J.R. Smith, 0.03%. Congratulations, you played yourself. 0.03%, which is like 7 entries.
I assume they're all the same person.
You assume someone put in a placeholder and had X tickets to this thing, and
they put in a 7 lineup placeholder, including J.R. Smith.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll find out who it is tomorrow and let you know.
Yeah, he's gonna win all the money.
Actually, I guess you could search that right now, can't you?
I can.
It's in the. Do you export the Excel file?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll show you all the people that have played J.R. Smith. Like if you search for J.R. Smith, right? Am I crazy?
I'm searching for the word Smith, and it brought up someone whose username was. Let me just put in exactly J.R. Let me make. All right, I think I can do that. Let's publicly call people out for playing J.R. Smith.
Here comes the ship my money or.
Oh, it's gonna be so God.
Awesome.
God, it's gonna be or something.
For a second, I got nervous, and I was like, I'm not even in that tournament.
JR is a great glue guy. J.R. Smith was owned by. I can't believe we're just calling people out. This is very not me. Okay, bring that in there and expand this field out here. J.R. Smith is owned by Trandallas, Trandallas. I think it's just one lineup with it. He's owned by Red_Monkey23. Strong.
Congratulations, people. You're playing yourselves.
He's owned by MVER Firth.
CJ Miles ruled out.
He is on. Interesting. Your D-line right shares feel a little bit better. I guess your Chandler Parsons shares, if you were being really creative today, feel a little better. Blasco19. This is all different people, brother. ALGX Frosty as a J.R. Smith share. This is a brilliant lineup. Durant, Curry, Dwayne Bacon, J.R. Smith, Damian Lee. Like something interesting happened there. Let's leave it at that. Goalhead Martin played J.R. Smith alongside Frank Kaminsky, and like he just likes the Cavs. Wow. Reggie Jackson, Jordan Clarkson, Colin Sexton, David Nwaba, J.R. Smith. Like, okay. Sparrow 47. There's a lot of dudes. MS Mesider Lars, one of two. This guy played multiple lineups, one of which had J.R. Smith in it. That's really hard to do. KC White 3266, who played 6 lineups. One of them has J.R. Smith in it. Is J.R. Smith playing and you and I just didn't know? Did he sign a contract and I missed it?
He did not.
Okay, I'm just saying. I try not to miss any of the news, but feeling like I missed J.R. Smith news. He hit the buyout market. He signed with the Miami. They're shorthanded today.
Yeah.
He's going to play 30 minutes against the
He was
Sun.
already in Miami partying.
Yeah.
He was just like, yeah, man, I could be there in like an hour.
He's like, dude, I'm across the street. I just need to find a shirt.
Are there any drug tests? Because I'm going to fail that.
I'm going to... Yeah, I hope you got a big trunk because I'm going to put my bike in it.
Man, who benefits from the CJ Miles news? I'm making the minutes adjustments now. That's a lot of minutes.
Yeah. I don't know. Let me look at my thing and then unamortize that shizzle out there.
I think that's going to be a decent amount of minutes for Bruno, like officially, right?
The answer is Bruno Parsons Holiday in some, right? Like, yeah. Bruno Parsons Holiday, right, I guess, is the...
Yeah, I don't know what else they have. Avery Bradley probably plays like definitely a lot of minutes now.
Yeah. I mean, I think he was kind of going to... I don't think it affects him. I think he was going to get, like, I'm starting my rotation, my minutes, yada. I think it flows to other guys. If I had to guess, it doesn't affect Avery Bradley.
I just meant, like, from a solidification standpoint. Like, he's almost assuredly playing, like, 34 minutes.
The guy who would bring into play who was out of play previously for me would probably actually be Holiday. Who's just been dreadful.
Yeah.
Like, he was really good in Chicago for a while, and by good, I mean, took a million shots, and they were okay with that. Then other people got healthy and like Markkanen started and like got in. Okay, and then he got traded. Then he was dreadful for a couple games, and they started anyone they could over him. And then they finally let him start, and he was good for a few games. And then they figured out he wasn't good at basketball, and he got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, and never touches the ball. And Conley doesn't pass to him, and blah, blah. But now he might play 31 minutes instead of 26, and his price is all the way down to nothing. So I guess that would be the guy. Good matchup.
One of our fearless leaders is definitely listening to the show right now. So hi, Tom.
Hi, Tom. 1979. That's almost 16.5% of what I had on the All-Star break. Bitches.
Yeah, that's a mic drop show right there for you.
I think there was an error.
Glad we're on the same page.
I think a 0 got added. I seriously doubt there were 5 digits of people who tuned in and listened to my fucked up audio talk about the All-Star game single game slate for a while.
I don't know,
pretty
man.
crazy. Something went.
I don't. I think every single one of those is legit.
Now you're a good man.
I really do.
And thorough. Doesn't matter.
Is Javon Carter active? Is he up?
Yes. He's with the team.
I could see him getting a couple minutes now.
Sure. I love your diligence in that you're doing this. The main slate has gone, and we're talking about, there's not going to be any CJ Miles, and you're like, I'm spending 10 minutes. I'm not going to have any fun here. I'm going to make sure
I think that I'm going to late swap into more Avery Bradley.
I really don't think it affects him. I think his rotation doesn't change a lot. Like,
I'm just confident he plays now. Like the full, he played 19 in the most recent game.
I will give you that. If your statement is I think he definitely gets his full minutes now, I'll give you that. That's fine. I'll take that. I think he was probably going to anyway. And I was worried about, minutes coming off Conley. And I think the last game, he was in foul trouble the last game, which is why you got more minutes out of Delon Wright than I would expect in general.
Yeah.
And less minutes out of Avery Bradley. I think absent foul trouble, you get 32 or whatever out of Bradley and 25, 26 out of Delon Wright. I don't have it up, but something like that in general. So
yeah, I've right at 28 right now.
Okay. I'm fine with that. That's splitting the two. I will, with this news, I think that's great.
Yeah, nothing's too interesting on Memphis. I was just thinking I probably end up with 2 or 3 additional Avery Bradley lineups.
Somebody caught my Big Lebowski reference.
Oh, I had it.
The good man and thorough. I didn't know if you.
Great, that was fantastic. I went bowling this weekend.
Oh, excellent. Did Saddam give you your shoes?
No.
That movie's so good.
Well,
I like movies for the same reason I like DFS. There's so many ways to do it well.
Very true.
There's different shots and music and all the fun symbolism and there's so much fun symbolism stuff in there. You're get bored, go to YouTube and Google symbolism in the Big Lebowski. There's actually a tremendous amount. It's hilarious. If you just love it as a black comedy, as some brilliant acting by the lead guys, as the distinctive, quirky brothers directing. If you like it for any of those reasons, there's actually a subtext and some fun shit going on. There is actually some Barton Fink level. Okay, clearly, Barton Fink slams it in your face. I am showing you symbolism. I am the rat at the end of The Departed. There is symbolism, but Big Lebowski. There's actually an undercurrent of interesting, really mental shit going on there.
I haven't watched it in a long time. I need to rewatch it.
Yeah, it's but you'd enjoy that video. You'd be like, oh, that's right. Oh, I didn't notice that, and just little shit in the background, and I enjoy a good Paul Thomas Anderson. Also, I enjoy me some really anal symbolism in my films.
All right, everybody. Live Before Lock is the promo code if you're still sticking around. One big word.
They jinxed it. 3 people are just keep going. And you're immediately
I'm starving.
Me too.
Thrive Fantasy. Shout out to Thrive for sponsoring the show. Live Before Lock is the promo code. We'll be back tomorrow for a lovely 3-gamer. See you guys in the morning. Or some of us at night. Bye.
Bon chance.